Hello and welcome back. It's episode 2 of Stitching Sunday. Today I am wearing my linen tank, and in today's video I'm going to give you some updates on my whips, and I'm going to tell you about something that I bought this week that I had absolutely no business buying, but I did. I have to pop this part into black and white. If you watched the video last week, you'll know that the yoke sweater that I'm working on is a top secret color, so black and white we go. Last week I showed you my cable yoke. I have now frogged that cable yoke, rest in peace, and I have been working away on a new, simpler, basic yoke. Obviously, it's in a weird state right now. I wanted to check the fit of the sleeve, so I did like part of the body until a skein ended and then picked up a sleeve. Right now it is fitting quite snug and I want it to be like really relaxed and loose, but I know that this yarn grows a fair bit with blocking, so I'm trusting the process, I'm trusting my math, and we're gonna go with it. Last week I said that I wanted to finish this yoke this week, and obviously that has not happened. I wasn't able to crochet for 2 whole days this week, and that set me way behind. The first was just because I had a pattern launching this week and there was lots of stuff to do with that. And the other was it was Mr. Boomer's birthday this week. So we had a little celebration for the bubs, a full day celebration for the bubs, and I didn't get any crocheting done. So when it comes to this sweater, I said that I was going to be leaving it at home and not bringing it to BC with me because I'm leaving for BC today, Sunday. And I didn't want to have to bring this big of a project because I only have a personal item carry-on. I need to get this sweater done, so this sweater is coming with me. We will just pack like one less actual sweater to wear. It's fine. It's fine. When I was working on this week, I like tested myself. I sat down and like crocheted for a whole hour, and I weighed my yarn before and after, and it turns out I can crochet about 34 grams of DK weight yarn in an hour, which is a lot. And that means that with my like 4 hours of flying in each direction, I can get like half this sweater done just on the plane alone. So that is the project that is going to be coming to BC with me this week. It wasn't what I had planned, but it's what's going to happen. So I need a little bit of help with designing this. I haven't decided how much cuff or how much hem I'm going to do. I kind of love the idea of like a wide cuff. I've done it for a couple of my designs. So maybe like 2.5 inches of cuff, and the sleeves to be a little bit like wider as they come down, and then the cuff fitted, so you get that really like classic oversized sweatshirt look. Either that, or I stick with a cuff that is like a similar width to the collar here, like an inch, 1.5 inches. Let me know which cuff you think would look better in the comments. Then also I need your help with the hem. So again, with the hem, I can do a short hem, but like maybe between 1.5 and 2 inches, and just keep it straight. I could do a longer hem, like maybe like a 4-inch hem, and keep it straight. Or I could do like I did for my Marzana sweater. I'll throw a picture up here where the hem actually comes in and you get, again, that like classic sweatshirt look where it kind of cinches in at the bottom and is more fitted on your hips. If I do that option, the hem would probably be in the like 2 to 3 inch range, probably around 3 inches. So let me know what you think I should do with the cuff and with the hem on this sweater. And we're back to color. I realized in last week's video I said I'm going to BC, but I didn't really explain why. So my immediate family all lives in BC, and we have a very special tiny human in the family who is turning 1 this week. So I am heading out there for a first birthday for my little nibbling. it's going to be really, really great to see my family. I don't get to see them that often because we live on opposite sides of the country, and I don't get to squish the little one very often. So that's why I'm heading to BC. And I went out to BC last September to meet the little one, and there was an airline strike potentially happening while I was out there. So I ended up booking 2 flights home with 2 different airlines, and that second airline I ended up canceling the flight with, so I have a credit with them and I was able to use that credit for these flights. So girl math says that it's a free flight. All right, my next whip update involves me telling you about something that I purchased for myself that I had absolutely no business purchasing, but I did it. If you've purchased any of my patterns, you will have seen my Furls crochet hooks in any of the progress photos. I have been using the Furls Odyssey hooks for basically as long as I have been designing garments. And if you know anything about Furls, they have discontinued these Odyssey hooks. When they were discontinued, I stocked up on a bunch of the sizes that I commonly use because I am very clumsy and I drop these hooks and they break. So I wanted some backups. I'm like, if I'm going to continue crocheting with these hooks for the rest of my life, I need to have more than one 3.25 millimeter hook. The issue though, the forever issue with Furls is the vast inconsistency in the hooks themselves. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it in here. So like, let's look at these two to start. I think these are, I mean, they're similar in size, but the head of the hooks look very similar, but you'll notice the shaft of this one like starts tapering out way sooner than the shaft of this one starts tapering out. And when we look at something like the head on this one, this is going to be challenging to see. The head on it is like completely different shape than the head on this one. So as much as I have always loved these hooks for how easily I am able to crochet with them and how their ergonomic handle makes it so that my arms and back and hands don't hurt when I'm crocheting, it did always annoy me how differently shaped the tops of them were because it was impossible to keep things consistent. And now that they've been discontinued, I've been exploring, looking at other hooks that could potentially be my forever hooks. I think you know where this is going. And I need you to not judge me because I am the world's #1 hater of billionaires and I refuse to support billionaires every opportunity that I can. But I gave in and purchased an interchangeable hook set from Amazon this week. Judge me if you will, I judge myself. But we got to do what we got to do in these hard times. So here's the hook. I really like how pointy the end is and how sharp the like part that grabs the yarn is, the hook part. And I also like that it stays straight on the throat, the neck, the shaft, whatever this part is called. It stays straight for quite a while. So my yarn is going to be not stretched out like it is on some of those Furls hooks because of the tapering of the end. The one thing I'm concerned about with these hooks, so the Furls Odyssey hooks are like a weighted hook. They have a bit of heft to them, and these ones are even heavier. As well, they're also bigger. I didn't expect them to be so big. So they're like probably a full inch or like 2 to 3 centimeters longer. And they're also a fair bit wider than the Furls hooks. I put each of them on my little scale that I use for weighing my yarn. The Furls hooks were in the 30 gram, like 30 to 35 gram range. These are 60 grams. So we're almost double the weight with these. My other beef with these is that they don't come in like the standard, they don't come in all of the standard sizes. So they do have every 0.5 millimeter from 3 millimeters up to 7 millimeters. And then there's an 8, 9, and 10 millimeter top for this. The issue with that is that I'll often use like a 2.75 or a 3.25, and those are no longer options. So yeah, there's no C hook, there's no D hook, but there is a 3mm hook, which is in the middle. So if I use that 3mm hook, 3mm hooks are not something that's super accessible in other brands of crochet hooks. It's not like a standard size typically. So if I use that 3mm hook for one of my designs, do I put 3mm hook in my patterns, or do I look at the gauge that I have and decide if I want to put 2.75 or 3.25 based on that gauge? I think that's probably what I'll end up doing if I end up using that small hook. All this is to say, I wasn't going to even start swatching my next whip until after I got back from BC and after I was done that circle yoke. But I got these new hooks, and I am a firm believer that you shouldn't change between hooks on a whip because your gauge can change. So I decided to start swatching for the sweater scarf with the Bad Sheep yarn, the sparkly yarn. And I have started a swatch for the cuff. It's this ribbing that kind of looks like a 2x2 knit rib. I'm actually using it on that yoke sweater as well. It's essentially 3 rows of slip stitch back loop only and 1 row of half double crochet back loop only. And it is really, really beautiful. What I'm realizing with these hooks, I don't know if it's the weight or the slipperiness of them or how they're in my hand, or maybe it's the yarn. This swatch is coming up a lot tighter than I expected it to with the 3.5mm hook. So I might actually frog this and go up 1 more hook size and re-swatch with it. But it was fun to experiment with my new hooks a little bit. Oh, one thing about these hooks that I didn't mention, so I mentioned that they're interchangeable. You literally just screw the top off and then pick the size you want and screw it on. And since the part where you attach to is so low, it's never going to get stuck on your yarn. But even if it was higher, it's so smooth there. Like the join between the piece that is interchangeable and the handle is so smooth. Your yarn could flow over that really easily. So that is the new hook set and the update on the sweater scarf. Another update on the sweater scarf, let me just put these down so I don't break any of them. The other update on the sweater scarf is that I went to the library and took out 3 crochet stitch books. So for this sweater scarf, I told Bad Sheep Yarn that I was going to do some kind of like lace or cable ness to it. And I haven't done a lot of lace or cables other than the cable yoke that I ended up frogging. Like, we're not talking about that. So I went and got these 3 books that will hopefully help me to determine what stitches I want to use. So I got this first one, Crochet Stitches Visual Encyclopedia, 300 Stitch Patterns, Edgings, and More. Then I got this one that's called Lacework for Adventurous Crocheters. This one is really cool. I'm not sure that I'm going to use anything from it. I did have a peek through it last night, and it is more lacy. I don't necessarily want this to be lacy because I think a sweater scarf is already awkward enough to like get it sitting on your body right. Adding lace into that, your fingers will be going through holes. I think I'm going to stick more with a solid stitch. And then, of course, the probably most famous crochet stitch book is the Indispensable Stitch Collection for Crocheters by Melissa Leitman. This one I have definitely used before when trying to choose stitches and stitch patterns for different designs of mine. So I'll be looking through these 3 and flagging a few different stitches or stitch reps or cables or who knows, different textures. And then I'll probably try swatching a few of them to see how they look in this yarn. And that's where I'm at with the sweater scarf using the sparkly yarn. Last week, I also told you about my triangle yoke that I will be frogging. I haven't even started frogging that yet, so my update on that is there is no update. When I get back from BC, I will have that sweater done. And I'll get started on my sweater scarf right away. I'll finish that sweater scarf and then I'll start on the triangle yoke sweater. Thankfully, because right now I'm feeling very behind in my crocheting, thankfully, my December project is actually already done. It's a hat that I made last year and never released the pattern for. So I'm releasing the pattern for that in December, and it's going to be a free pattern on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe if you want that free pattern. And also my February project is also done. So between now and like Labor Day, I only have to finish these projects. I don't need to do anything else. It'll just be the January sweater that I have to do. And I can manage that. I can manage one more sweater. Thankfully, I have those 2 buffer months built in there because there's just been so much frogging. And as promised last week, every Stitching Sunday video is going to end with a featured design that is 25% off for the week. This week's featured design is my Euro cami, another cami for you because it is still hot and summery out there. So I want to be sharing those hot and summery designs. To get 25% off the Euro cami, use the code SUNDAY25 between now and the end of day Saturday. That's all for today. Thanks for watching episode 2 of Stitching Sunday, and we'll see you again soon. Happy crocheting!